Okay.
Now this slide is perfect, sir.
Okay.
Welcome to Gyanmanjari Innovative University and welcome to Gyanmanjari International Conference on Commerce, Management and Arts, Gimca 2026.
Chirag, you are not audible to me. Can you hear me?
I hope I am visible and audible.
Now you are, Chirag.
Yeah. So I would like to introduce our today's Ford is one of my good friend and a very well-known leader in the area of marketing and specialized in the management area. So without taking much time, I would like to hand over the screen and all the theme to Professor Dr. Rohit Trivedi. Rohit Trivedi, sir.
Thank you very much, Chirag sir. Thank you to Gyanmanjari University, and especially thank you very much to my old colleagues and a very, very dear friend, Professor Chirag Vyas. I kind of write with love and affection call him Chirag. So thank you very much kind of write to Chirag sir for calling me for this specific conference. Let's dive directly into the topic. So what I'm going to talk about today is global research and knowledge transfer, especially my reflections and learning. So that's what is going to be the topic of the day. I am planning to speak for 22 to 25 minutes, and then remaining 5 minutes, we will keep it for the Q&A, question and answer. So if you've got any questions, you can keep it for the last kind of 5 to 7 minutes, or you can put it in the chat. So let's dive in. So all of us are into higher education, and in any university across the globe, we are expected to go for these 4 roles: teaching, academic leadership, business engagement, that is consulting, and research. Out of that, one of the role and one of the activity that is very close to my heart and that I am doing since I was a young academics in Bhavnagar is research. We are all expected to do impactful research that is internationally acknowledged. And today, since I am being told by Chirag that there are a good number of early career researchers and young researchers that are there in the gathering, I would like to share a couple of tips and tricks for doing impactful and internationally engaging research. So the focus of the day is not going to be on the teaching or academic leadership, but it's going to be solely on academic research. So what is impactful research? If someone asked me to define it, I would go on the route of Professor Philip Kotler and define it by 4 P's. But these are not 4 P's of marketing. These are 4 P's of research. And what are these? These are: number 1, you need to have a PhD with a very, very, very strong foundation. If not, it would be difficult to traverse this journey. Number 2, you need to publish papers in the leading international journals. And when I say leading international journals, I mean all the 3 words. So it may not be, and it should not be a local journal, but a truly reputed CABS 3-star and 4-star journal, so to say. Number 3, To deliver this first two, you need to have innovative projects and you must collaborate with the international partners that are there across the globe. You can't limit yourself to India. So that is third. And fourth one is academic research is very difficult and you will see paper rejections and probably project failure day in and day out. And that's why you need to have the mindset of perseverance, whatever come may. So I'll talk about this four things: PhD, research papers, projects and partnerships, and perseverance in failures today. So let's dive in. Number one, PhD. Okay. I believe a good number of you are either doing PhD or have recently completed your PhD. So when I say PhD with strong foundation, what do I mean? What I mean is you need to differentiate first of all, as I tell all my PhD students, between content and context. A good number of PhDs that I see nowadays are focusing on context. Okay, so when I say context, what I mean, they are focusing on a country, a brand, a industry, a recent phenomena like AI, which is important. I'm not saying it's not important. But if you wanted to have a strong PhD, then you need to focus more on the content. And when I say content, I mean to say your three sets of contribution. What is your theoretical contribution? What is your methodological contribution? And what is your contribution to the practice? And you need to bring all the three into a strong PhD to advance. Okay. And I have kind of bit taken a slight humorous take at all the slides. So kind of really sorry for that. But what I mean over here is probably after 10, 15, 20 years, if someone would read your PhD thesis, it should be equally relevant, whatever the context may be. Okay. And that's why especially focus on the core and novel theoretical contribution. So for example, if you are doing research on scarcity that I am doing, okay, you need to think about how scarcity affects the brand of consumers and business leaders. That would be your starting point. And from there on, the journey starts. Okay, so that's first thing. Second, where I have seen a good number of ECRs struggle is methodological expertise. You may be very good in writing, but believe me when I say this, if you don't have a strong methodological expertise either in quantitative or qualitative research domain, you will struggle. Okay, so you need to have a strong methodological expertise. And for that, you need to be updated with all the latest tools and techniques of either quantitative or qualitative research project. So I'm sorry if I'll be offending someone for next kind of few minutes, but if you are still using the old tools in quantitative research like Excel sheet, SPSS, right, you are done and dusted. It doesn't work. You have to learn the advanced tools like Stata and R. Without learning that, you will not be able to compete. Now, that was also kind of before a year and a half. Nowadays, you need to learn agentic AI and especially the tools like Claude to develop your methodological expertise. Okay? So keep on learning and keep on refining your methodological expertise to this game. Third, when you're doing PhD, please don't restrict yourself to the specific academic boundary like marketing, finance, HR. It doesn't work like this in the international arena. Okay, you have to think and you have to ask for the help beyond your academic boundaries. So believe me when I say this, although I'm doing research in marketing, I'm working more with colleagues who are in psychology, peace studies, social science, neurologist to really bring the nuances of consumer decision making and marketing onto the game. And for that, I'll be contacting not only my marketing colleagues, but kind of right sometimes in the middle of the night, I'll be giving a call to the neurologist to explain me some neurological phenomena that may affecting my consumer decision making. Okay, so please do that. And I call this kind of right when you are writing papers. That's very important part. So now I am moving from PhD to paper writing. When you are writing papers for a leading ABS 3-star or a 4-star journal, it's a very difficult, individualistic, and a journey which is completely aloof. Okay, and that's why I call this 4 R's of research. That is research cycle: read, write, rinse, and repeat. Sometimes that single research paper will take 3 to 4 years to develop. Okay, you cannot publish a very good 3-star and a 4-star paper in 3 to 4 months like people kind of right really think. You have to spend 2 to 3 years behind each and every paper. And then you will be able to publish in a leading academic journal. Okay. And to all my colleagues, I would strongly suggest scratch your 0 stars and 1-star and 2-star paper. That doesn't help in terms of your international careers. Okay. Focus on impactful papers in 3 stars and 4-star journal. That may take a lot of time, but that journey will be very, very fruitful in terms of your career progression. When you are publishing papers, you will have always a choice between volume, that is quantity, versus quality. Would you like to publish, and do you have a mindset to publish 20 papers into some national kind of right journals which are not recognized internationally at all? Or would you only publish 2 to 3 papers into the kind of right impactful quality journals? And my choice and advice would be always go for the second one. Always go for the quality. Don't play the number games. Okay. Your journal impact factor is the kind of right sole benchmark over here if you wish to go for. So publish in high impact factor journal, albeit only 2 or 3 a year, more than sufficient. Okay. One more thing on the research papers that I've observed. Ideas are dozen a day, to be honest. I am receiving daily 4 to 5 emails from the scholars across the globe with some kind of right, very innovative idea. Is it important? Yes. But more important is execution. You may have a great idea about a research paper. Okay. For example, how scarcity affects the mind of young children when they are playing online game. Good idea. How would you execute it matters. That is, rubber hits the road. If you've got an idea, you need to think what will be the research questions around it. How these research questions will be different from those that are already published. Why it would be interesting to an academic colleague and to a practitioner. Then you need to think, how will I execute this idea in terms of data collection? Will I be using a structural equation modeling, or will I be using an experimental research? If I'll be doing an experiment, like myself, you need to think, how will you build those 3 or 4 experiments that combines together, explains a phenomena. Okay? And at this execution stage that you need to spend a lot of time. So believe me when I say this, for my experiments, I'll be collecting the data in flat 10 kind of right to 20 days. But I need to spend at least 7 to 8 months to design every experiment. Okay? So that execution part is very, very important. And if you fail in that execution, then kind of right, you are into trouble. So I always say this: a quality of a good researcher is when rubber hits the road. How better can you execute your idea from others will define you as a research scholar. Next one. I always say you need to have multiple projects and multi-country collaboration to succeed. Okay. But in that, I'll start with the first point. Always remember trend is your friend. So if you are doing still research on old style 4 P's of marketing, for example, okay, you are doomed. You need to think about new tools to develop new projects. So start thinking around the tools of AI, ML, blockchain, digital, sustainability to develop new projects. And for that, you need to learn these tools. So, for example, and I'm sorry, kind of right again to offend someone, but if you are still using the old, tired chat GPT, you are done and dusted. You need to learn new and emerging agentic AI tools for academic research. I have put forward over here some of the AI tools that I'm using myself for the academic research. Okay. So, for example, if you wanted to do a very good literature survey, you need to use the AI tools like Scholarcy and Napkin. And SLR, Systematic Literature Review. You need to use the tools like Notebook LM and Research Rabbit. Okay. For the purpose of empirical research, please use the tool like Consensus and Evidence Hunt. Yeah, so these are some of the tools that are there. Some of them are paid, some of them are free, but all of them are very important tools that will kind of right help you a lot going ahead. Next one. Don't rely on a single project, a single idea, or a single paper to change your academic journey. Never do that. We researchers need to act like a juggler. You must have seen kind of right the juggler in the older time who used to juggle 4 or 5 balls there in the air, right? Think like that. Always have a repository of 4 to 5 projects. Some project will be always in the starting phase, idea phase. In some of the project, you will be collecting the data. In some of the project, you will be analyzing the data. Some of the project will be already submitted as a paper in terms of publications and under kind of right revise and review stage, so on and so forth. So always have multiple projects ready in your repository. And number two, so act like a juggler, have multiple projects, but you don't need to do it alone. That's my another advice. I have seen multiple scholars who take the entire burden of a project on their shoulder and believe that they can deliver that. You can, but it will be very difficult journey, believe me. So collaborate with like-minded researchers from across the globe. Okay? And it's very easy nowadays with the era of internet kind of right to collaborate. You need to look for someone's work. You need to have some kind of right understanding about what he or she is doing. And you need to just shoot an email that I've got this project. I want to work with you. Let's have a Google Meet. And believe me, I've sent these random emails to the professors in Germany, Japan, Australia, US, and never ever it has happened that they have not responded. They've always responded to me kindly, and I've collaborated with lots of friends. Okay? So don't be shy. Talk to people, send emails, and start working on the projects. And last bit over here, I have seen, especially with Indian scholars, that they are a bit hesitant to contact the leading professors in the field, thinking that, hey, the guy is there in UK, US, would not kind of right really be a nice person, would not spend time required for this project. Believe me when I say this, all academics, wherever they are located, are looking for the good project. are looking for good scholars to work with. So if you have got that fire in the belly, you can always shoot an email and you will be responded. Last bit over here. Global part I have covered. Along with that, my suggestion is don't focus on a singular theme. Focus on diversity of ideas and expertise. So, for example, for myself, I started my journey as a marketing scholar. From marketing, I moved to entrepreneurship. From entrepreneurship, I moved to small businesses. From small businesses, I moved to farm innovation research. And from farm innovation research, now I am doing international business research. So I am having a thread of 6 to 7 diverse domain that I'm working with. The reason? The reason is cross-pollination of the idea works a lot. So for example, now I am working that how scarcity mindset in an entrepreneur works in the international business setting that allows him or her to expand the business internationally. That's a combination of 3 or 4 diverse fields: marketing, international business, entrepreneurship, and digital combined together, creating a strong project. Okay. Last one, perseverance is equally important. In academic journey, your projects will fail. Your paper will get rejected. Your data analysis will not bring any meaningful result. Your project partner will ditch you halfway through the project. These are all part and partial of the difficult academic research journey. Accept it, accept these failures and rejections as a part of your research process and move ahead. If the project is not working, shut it, move ahead. If paper gets rejected, revise it, send it to a better journal. If one of the partner is not working, leave that partner aside, move ahead and have other partners. Okay? And jokingly, I have put this over here, a picture from a Sweden, but this is a real kind of right picture. A girl is wearing kind of right a skirt that is made of the rejection letters of the journal for the paper that she has kind of right really sent for the publication. Okay? So these are part and parcel of the journey. Take it in the stride. But for that, what you need to do, you can't just kind of write, accept that, hey, you have failed and move ahead. No. What you need to do is be a learning machine. Read, read, and read. Okay. Where has that project failed? Why is that paper rejected? Where is the problem with the data? Check it out, read and read it again, and revise it. That's the way to go. Okay. Last, research is a journey and not a destination. Okay. As you will go along in that journey, you will realize that, hey, there is so much of the thing that you still don't know. You need to learn. Okay. So when you are undergrad, you will feel that, hey, I have known everything about this field. When you do PhD, you will believe, hey, I know a little about this field. And probably once your hairs are graying like me, you will believe that, hey, I don't know. I overshot myself. I know very little about something. And that's will inspire you to kind of right work harder. Okay. So have perseverance, read and learn. That's what is the game. So last bit from my side. Welcome to the game. Paddle you must, quit you cannot. Okay. So thank you very much and expand your research horizon one step at a time. And you will have a great academic scholarship journey. Thank you very much, all. And I'll stop kind of right sharing the screen. I'm sorry, Chirag, you are mute.
I hope I am audible now.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time, for being a part of Gimca 2026. On behalf of Gyanmanjari Innovative University, Gimca 2026, I, Dr. Chirag Vyas, chairperson of Gimca 2026, would like to extend my words of gratitude to Dr. Rohit Trivedi, sir, for providing us your valuable insights and time and sparing the knowledge and sharing the details along with our students. Thank you very much, sir. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you, Chirag. Thank you very much and have a great time. Bye.
Yeah.
हर घर की एक आस्था होती है जो शब्दों में बयां न सही पर हर दिल में रहती है।
ये पूजा लक्ष्मी देवी के ओर से।
आस्थाएं अलग अलग हो सकती हैं, पर भरोसा एक जैसा होता है।
yatradham.org
हर घर की एक आस्था होती है।